to another episode of On VJ's playlist, and I'm equally excited today as much as I am for all my past episodes because today I'm joined by Pranati Khanna, aka PK, one of Hyderabad's most enterprising voices, and somebody who I personally look up to as a person, and who is all heart for not just for her music but also for the concerns and issues that she believes in. PK, welcome. Such a treat
Thank
to be
you.
speaking. It's such a treat to be speaking to you again after we spoke almost more than a year
Last
back.
year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what a journey has it been since then? I've just seen you grown from strength to strength, and I think personally I mean off the record we do have a lot to connect about. But firstly, let me begin by asking you, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. It means a lot to me. And also, I think just being, having this conversation with you again after last time, it helps me also look back at the last conversation and just because musicians very rarely take a moment to say, okay, I came a little further ahead. So it's so nice to hear you say that. So thank you. And I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm doing good.
I think tired is pretty much the bottom line, PK, because you've just
Yeah.
released your latest single, Squeaky Clean, on the day the NH7 Weekender is to happen. You perform at the NH7 Weekender, followed by Echoes of the Earth, which just concluded in Bangalore last weekend. And from what I understand is you have two more shows coming up. Uh, so I
Yeah.
don't, I really don't know how have you spaced yourself out for this month. But is there a chance of taking a little time to rest and recoup now that the holiday season is here?
I mean, BJ, I'm like exhausted for sure, but I have to take time off. I have to. Um, I think the thing is, I also have my ad agency, the whole shebang, and so
Yeah,
coming back, I initially thought I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna take like a week off and chill and watch TV. And the second I got back, the phone is ringing. Where is this design? I need this help. All went out the window, but I have promised myself that after my second gig, my last gig that I know of, at least on the 14th, I am going to take 10 days to just chill till
yeah.
Christmas. I'm going to go off the radar for some time.
Why till Christmas? Don't you think chilling should be something that you keep till the New Year's? Like spend the rest of the year
Yeah. I
with
wish,
your.
yeah, but I really wish, but the problem here is that this season, this time of year is like for music and for marketing is like the big fat season, right? So all of
Yeah,
our clients from work, we have like so many things to do for them, and all the shows are happening simultaneously.
yeah.
So this month have to somehow survive with like no rest.
But on the, yeah, I mean, if I have to, also speak on the other side about things, I think it's also very, very gratifying, no, PK, that suddenly
Mm,
we have reached that phase now after 2 years of waiting, after 2 years of having
mm,
stayed indoors and heard each other's music, just
mm.
waiting, for that day that yes, when finally, things will return to normalcy and we can all go back to doing what we were doing before the pandemic struck us. So in between when, during all these festivals, when you're catching up with your community members, when you're catching up with
Mm.
other musicians and all, how are you all able to gauge the sentiment of finally getting back to the stage again and performing?
I think when I met a lot of the musicians that were all of us were in pandemic at the same time, right? Uh, obviously, sorry. We all met at the music festival, right? And these are musicians from across the country that during pandemic we were like in touch with on Instagram and on Clubhouse. And
Yeah,
so since then, nobody like no, it's not we never had an opportunity for all of us to be in the same place at the same time. But here at NH7 and at Echoes of Earth, everyone was at the artist lounge, at the artist village, whatever, at the same time, and all of us were saying the same thing. It's so good to be out, to be
yeah.
able to be back on like a big fat stage with big fat sound and together. And all of us to meet each other in person, it's not just virtual
Yeah.
anymore. So it is very gratifying, absolutely.
I'm sure just the feeling of meeting people that you have just spoken to over 2 years, or through Zoom, or you've just
Yeah.
exchanged pleasantries on Instagram, just to meet them in
Mm,
person, and that beautiful feeling of exchanging a hug and knowing that, yeah, this person is
yeah.
right here in flesh and blood in front of
Yeah.
my eyes. I have gotten so emotional actually meeting so many people that I had only known about on
Yeah.
Instagram, or I've heard about through Spotify,
Yeah.
and then to
Yeah.
get the chance to meet them at the NH7 Weekender was like,
Oh,
oh God.
right?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So, firstly, PK, I have to begin by apologizing that I missed your set because, unfortunately, on the 2 days that I was hoping that nothing unhealthy comes my way, I was down on
Yeah.
menstruation, so I ended up missing a lot of the gigs
Oh.
because I was busy resting out also. So
Oh God.
yes, so I have to begin by apologizing that as much as I intended to watch your set, I had to give it a miss, and I have been on an apologizing spree to all the musicians that I've happened to
We
miss.
forgive you. We
Thank
forgive you.
you. Thank you so much. But I think for you, this particular weekender was extremely special because you got a chance to showcase your brand new single, Squeaky Clean.
Yeah.
Something which I have been very proud to put it on my personal playlist recommendations, and I have spoken about it to the select few people following me on
Thank you.
Instagram. Yeah, my pleasure. I think PK, that's a very small gesture on my part to make up for not being able to attend your set at the weekend.
Huh.
But jokes aside, I think Squeaky Clean comes from a very, very pure and honest place, and I think it's reflective of a very common emotion that I'm sure a lot of us who are in our late 20s or early 30s or late 30s who are actually feeling it, the feeling of nostalgia, the feeling of wanting to go back to where we were as little kids,
Mm,
kind of hating the trappings of having grown up now into
mm,
adults. I think that's the universal emotion that Squeaky Clean captures. And it's
yeah.
accompanied by a beautiful music video that you have shot with your childhood best friend Isra, and with your
Yeah.
frequent collaborator Jonathan Edward, who's also the producer
Yeah.
of the single.
Yeah.
So just give me a little gist about how did you think of this song, or what was the emotion, or what was the thought that led to you conceiving the song in the first place?
So this year has just been a very up and down year for me. I had a lot. I just been through a very strange emotional experience, emotional roller coaster, and I also realized that over the years, I had kind of collected so much emotional baggage. Like I just felt like it was piling up and piling up and piling up, problems on problems on problems, and I felt like just letting go of all of it. And I did. I just dropped this huge weight off my shoulders, this stress off my shoulders. Did a lot of just cleaning up of various aspects and areas of my life. Um, and the next thing I did was I started to reapproach my music in a very different way. That's why there was such a long gap between when I released Sunshine on the Street
Yeah.
and Squeaky Clean, because I took this time to kind of just um, acknowledge the fact that I was changing, I was different, and I wanted a new sound. And so I went back into PK with a fresh, clean slate. I went back into this new chapter of my life with a fresh, clean slate. And that's why I called it Squeaky Clean, because I said when we were children, we were so excited about everything. We were excited about playing with toys. We were excited about playing in the garden with our friends. We were excited about everything. And I want to feel that kind of excitement again in my life. I want to know that I don't know what's going to happen. There's a clean slate over here. Anything could happen. Wonderful things could happen. And I just want to feel excited again, and I want to go all in into my life again, squeaky clean. Let go of my baggage, let go of my issues, let go of my preconceived notions, just start over. And that's what I did. That's what the song's about.
I think I can relate to the song a lot, and I even relate to the emotion that you're speaking about, PK, because
Yeah.
since my own set of personal tragedies last year, the one
Okay.
conscious decision I took to myself was that, okay, I need to get into Mary
Yeah.
Kondo mode right now, and I really need to take that
Yeah.
one broom and swipe everything clean, all those
One jhadu.
muscles. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I need to do a little abhiyan from my end right now, and
Yeah.
really get rid of anything that is inauthentic and anything that affects my space. Uh,
Yeah.
whether it's relationships, I mean, not
Mm.
relationships as such, whether it's friendships or
Mm.
any
Yeah.
equation where I don't feel like an equal, I did not want that in my life anymore. And
Yeah.
that's exactly uh, the whole, that's how I can say that my whole year has, kind of rolled out, where it was completely all about undoing and shedding off the load that I carried for years
Yeah.
together. And I can sense how proud you must be feeling about what you did, because when you hear the song, um, you have also kept it also in a very, very light heart. The composition is very light-hearted. The approach towards it is very light-hearted. It never comes across like, some kind of a sappy soft fest, nor does it get preachy
Yeah.
at any
Yeah.
point. But
Yeah.
you pretty much drive the narrative. You pretty much drive the messaging by keeping it very light-hearted. And I think in the larger scheme of things, somewhere when in the past also, whenever I used to discuss this in my interactions with other artists across
Yeah.
film and music genres, I believe that messaging can be communicated when it's kept in a when it's kept in a light-hearted
Yeah.
scheme
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
Now that you have done it, do you think that's a right approach going forward when you have to talk about very grave, serious issues?
Absolutely. I think that packaging something in a light cotton sort of way is the easiest way to get a point across to anyone. Because people nowadays, like the genres also, like the kind of music that people are listening to or enjoying and relating to, they're a lot lighter.
Yeah.
There's more R&B, there's more disco, there's more electronic elements. Everybody just wants to feel lighter because we've gone through such a heavy period of our lives together collectively. So even though the emotion is complex and the concept is heavy, not heavier, but it's a complicated emotion, which is it's such a big narrative. It's like it's complicated to put across in only a few words. So when I
Right.
had to boil it down, when you have to boil down something that large into something that small, this was my perfect way of doing it in this light-hearted, airy fashion. Also telling people that this light-hearted, airy fashion is how I hope all of you feel, not only when you listen to the song, but when you're getting through whatever you're getting through and moving into a new phase of your life, I hope you feel this light.
Let's talk about your best friend Isra. I think you've known her since childhood, and she also
Yeah,
features in the music video Squeaky Clean.
yeah.
Do you want to throw light upon the very special friendship that you share, and how do you think from little kids to now young women have you both
Yeah.
evolved, and how do you look at your journey together?
Isra and I have really, really been through a lot together. Well, back in that garden where we shot, there were things like birthday parties and New Year parties and growing up, all kinds of just light-hearted things. And we used to play together. And we've gone from that now, she moved from Hyderabad and she was living in Delhi for the longest time. So I used to go and visit her there whenever I could, or she'd come back and visit her family here. And no matter how far away we've been from each other, like we're like sisters, we're extremely close. And she's been through her share of just difficulties in her life. She lost her mom to cancer a
I'm
couple of
sorry.
years ago. Yeah, and her mother was her rock. Both of us are very close to our moms, very inspired, influenced by our mothers. And watching her go through that, and not too long before that, I had just got divorced from a very toxic relationship. So both
Yeah.
of us watching each other go from being these la 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 kind of children to suddenly just like, oh my God, life is serious. We have to be there for each other, and we have to step up and be adults. It's been a roller coaster, but suddenly I see Isra and me both parallelly moving into a nice aram kind of phase of our lives. We've entered this state of things are settled. We have moved out of our difficult phases. We're these nice little aunties. We sit down and we have our chai and our chat. So we have our wine and our conversations. And it's so wonderful to just have grown up together and hopefully grow old together. So that friendship, we are family more than we are friends. And no matter how far away from each other we might be, we maintain that. Now she's in Bangalore and I'm Hyderabad. I go and I spend time in her house whenever I feel like. But so the point of her being in this video is she and I were in that garden when we were 2. She and I are back in that garden shooting this music video when we're 30. And life has gone all over the place in the meantime. But we're still there. We're still fine. And anyone that watches that should just know that yes, life will take all kinds of twists and turns. But at the end of the day, you just remember you have the power and the energy and the people around you to keep you grounded, to make life better. So yeah.
I um I'm at a loss of words right now as to how has this been very, very emotionally overwhelming for both of you while shooting this and while reliving a journey together. But
Mm,
let's also talk about the beautiful collaboration, the beautiful equation that you share with your frequent collaborators. On one hand, there is Jonathan Edward, who is from Hyderabad, and there is Jonathan Anand Wesley from Bangalore. And when we
mm.
last spoke, you spoke about you call them Jonathan and Jonathan. So let's talk about
Yeah.
Jonathan and Jonathan. Um, what is the kind of energy that they bring into your lives, professionally and personally?
Well, Jonathan Wesley, honestly, I've just collaborated with him on Much Better and on my very first on Good Old Fashioned and
Yeah,
Love. But so it was more a business thing with him. But
yeah.
Jonathan Edward,
Word.
he's he's my big brother. He's been with me playing the guitar with me since I started the Ragamuffins, which was my first band when I
First band,
was,
yeah.
yeah, 22, whatever. And he's still with me on stage. He's seen me go from journey to journey musically, personally, professionally. Like, if there's one person that has the biggest insight into my story and my journey personally as an adult, it's Jonathan. So whenever I call him Eddie, Jonathan Edward.
Mm.
And so whenever Eddie approaches a new track with me, I barely have to even say too many words to him. He knows exactly what sound I'm going for. He knows exactly what mood I'm going for, vibe I'm going for. He brings the magic into that live on stage also and in the studio. So like he's in every way like my other half musically, and I'm really blessed to just have him in my life.
So, how do you look at how you have evolved as an artist and as a performer, PK, from the time you began with, like you rightly said, with Ragamuffins, and you're one of the few pioneers of jazz and pop music in Hyderabad city. How do you look at your evolution as an artist and a performer?
I think I went through the motions of just whatever girls go through, which is you start being a angsty teenager, and then you go through, life teaches you lessons. You grow up a little bit, you change, you find your peace, you find your calm. So from the Ragamuffins was like hard, angry rock. Like I was writing like very emotional, sad, sassy music, which was heavy.
Yeah.
And then I grew up, I guess. I just kind of evolved, um, and found my peace. And once I found my peace, my genre went from, I still listen to rock and I still love metal and all of that, but it's not my dialogue. I think my soul is just more in jazz. I love telling stories, and jazz, pop, hip hop, and rap, R&B, from where they came from. from the United States of America, all the parts of the of history, all of these people in history, these musicians that started pioneer these genres, um, from blues and jazz, and like they were telling stories. They were telling stories of hardship. A lot of the things that the music that we listen to now, the roots are actually in cotton fields back in history in the United States of America, where they were standing over there talking about their hardships and about, my God, why is my life like this? And then it waters down into rap, and then it goes into hip hop, and then it's gone into rhythm and blues, and it's, now today we are over here making subgenres of that, or we're calling soul neo soul, we're calling it jazz hop, we're calling it all kinds of things. So I identified with that genre when I grew up, really, because I said I can tell my story in a more calm fashion.
Yeah.
And I want to tell it in a more calm fashion because the music that I grew up with my parents was these genres. And I want to come back to who I was. I became a very angry person in between and perhaps went the hard rock angry way. But now I've come back to who I am as Pranati. And yeah, I'm more a pop, hip hop, R&B kind of gal. So yeah.
One of the most outstanding collaborations that have happened in recent memory is this year only, where you did "Sunshine on the Street" with Andrea Young, and
Yeah.
it was something that was aimed at the LGBTQI community of our country, and there's something
Mm,
that really put the spotlight on their lives, the individualities, and
yeah.
what do they really bring to the table. The fact that you make a song where you kind of express it that there is absolutely no necessity for anybody to fit into a bracket. There is no need for anyone to try and fit in, like however they are, they can, that can be celebrated and that needs to be celebrated. And I think the way it was so beautifully created, with Andrea doing her bit in Meghalaya, you doing your bit in Hyderabad. So firstly, how did you
Yeah.
bring that collaboration? Because when I saw the video, when I heard the song, I was like, can we have more of this, please?
Yeah. I'm so glad you like the song. Also, the collaboration was incredible because nobody knew how it would work out. She was recording in a studio in Shillong against the green screen with her friends. She
Yeah,
just sent that footage again, like my forever collaborators with my videos, Couch Potato Productions.
yeah,
She just sent that footage to them, and Daniel Sharma does all the 3D artwork that you see on You Don't Have to, Sunshine on the Street. So he made these backgrounds and he had them already prepared and stuff. And he just put it against the green screen. So
mm,
whatever they were sending from there, whatever we had shot from here, everything just came together because everything was shot against the green screen. Um, so it worked out really well. And music wise, she recorded over there in the studio, sent it to me. And again, Jonathan Edward pieced it all together. We got it mixed, we got it mastered. So we were on the phone, we were on Zoom calls, everything happened together only on calls. And it just went to show, it was a project that just proved you don't have to be in the same city to make music happen. A lot of people complain, oh, there are no musicians in Hyderabad. Who do I collaborate with? Just pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, you want to make a song? And it can happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so rightfully pointed out. I think when you and I, we spoke the last time also, PK, I think we really spoke about how uh, independent musicians in Hyderabad, especially, and this is what leads to the common misconception where people feel that Hyderabad is not really as out there as, say, a Delhi, a Bombay,
Mm.
or a Bangalore when it comes
Yeah,
to
we talked about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think one of the things we spoke about was largely because musicians in Hyderabad, they don't necessarily feel to really go out there. They're like happy within their cloud. They're happy being in a bubble and creating, doing what they do, and they're not as hungrily chasing it the way musicians in other cities are doing. And now that
Mm.
you say that you know musicians in Hyderabad keep complaining, why we are not able to do this or we are not able to do that. And you have
Mm,
just rightfully suggested that yeah, you just need to pick up the phone. You think somewhere from where we last spoke to the now that we speak, do you think something has
mm,
changed? Because I was having the similar conversation with Siddharth Bendi also on the channel
yeah,
a couple of
yeah,
months back. And he said that, yeah, that unfortunately, there are enough musicians in Hyderabad, but they don't necessarily feel the hunger to really go chasing things.
yeah,
That they're happy making music for themselves. Do you
yeah.
think that is an approach that could be a good approach, but it also has a flip side to it?
I think that, see, there are apart Bendy is a hustler. Priyanka Nath, she's a hustler.
Yeah,
But even Nitish Kondaparthi, like these people are putting themselves out there.
yeah,
But for whatever 4, 5 names we have in Hyderabad, there are like 15, 20 in Bombay, in Delhi, in Chennai. And I think that a lot of the musicians in Hyderabad, that have great voices or they're really good with their music, they don't feel driven to push their boundaries because when you compare the level at which musicians in Delhi or Bombay are performing at in terms of their live arrangement or in terms of their musicianship, they are hungry for improvement.
yeah,
They want to be the best. They're not just okay with playing the same few things. They want
yeah.
to learn like 10,000 genres and they want to learn all these riffs and they want to be with it and they want to know what's relevant, what genres are cool now. And they are collaborating with different musicians and blah, blah, blah. That hunger, like you rightfully said, is what is lacking in Hyderabad because I feel like a lot of the musicians over here, even though they are very talented, for some reason they are not feeling motivated to go further. Like
Yeah,
they're okay with being good. They for some reason they are not motivated to be incredible. And it's a
right.
long journey. Like I've barely started. I have barely scratched the surface. And it is a lot of effort. It takes so much energy because end of the day, Hyderabad is not known for music.
Yeah,
So even when you tell, if you call up any person from a record label or you talk to another musician and you say, I'm from Hyderabad, in their mind already they have a mental block. They're like, this person's from Hyderabad, must be some lame fellow. Who knows? I have had to push myself to get on these stages, prove myself to all of these crowds of people from other cities that, hey, she says she's from Hyderabad, sounds lame, but then they see me on stage with my Hyderabad band and they're like, wow, these guys are as good as any of us from the rest
yeah,
of the
yeah.
country. So I hope and I want for all of my fellow musicians in Hyderabad to just throw themselves in the deep end, go play everywhere in the country and show the country that we're not lame, that we have talent and that we're cool.
And do you think largely, PK, it's also because there's a huge overpowering sense of commercial mainstream music that just foreshadows everything, and that's why there is a
Yeah.
sense of that the lack of hunger that we spoke about, or you think those prospects get nipped in the bud itself only just because there's such a towering presence of mainstream commercial sounds in Hyderabad city?
Yes, you're really you hit the nail on the head. See, end of the day, we are Tollywood. Hyderabad is Tollywood. And all of the huge number of regional music bands that have come up, now we are getting more popular for that. And the indie music, as it were, or English music is taking a backseat because the audience in Hyderabad also there's for every 100 people that want to come for a regional music band
Hmm.
there'll be like 10 people who want to come for an independent artist who's made his own music and is playing pop or rock. So because the audiences are the takers for that genre of music are less, we can't do anything. Like it is what it is. So yeah, people are identifying Hyderabad more with less with independent English music because we're under the shadow of regional Tollywood, heavier
Hmm.
um kind of music. Yeah. So very slowly, I think because there's such a huge infiltration of people coming from the north to work in Hyderabad now, they're
Yeah.
slowly like discovering people like Bendy or Priyanka Nath or me, and they're coming for these gigs and they're like, hey, there's a scene over here. And then they're telling their friends back there or they're posting about it on their Instagram. So there is word going out because there are people coming into town.
Hmm.
But other than that, like we have to put ourselves out there a lot more for sure.
Right. Uh, because we spoke about, because you mentioned Couch Potato Productions, and I think Squeaky Clean is your third collaboration with them. One of my
Yeah.
favorite questions to ask, people who collaborate with each other often, and I remember asking this to a very popular Hindi film actor and director. They have done 6 films together, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask them. That when you are often collaborating with each other on different projects, how do you bring a renewed sense of perspective and approach and energy towards every enterprise? Because what happens, PK, is that when you work often together with the same kind of people, you know that there is implicit trust. You know that there is a mutual sense of respect. But the flip side to it, that also because there is trust and respect, that can lead to a lot of complacency also. So
Mm,
how do you withstand that, and at the same time ensure that from both from all parties involved, there's a collectively new sense of creativity and productivity towards
creativity.
what you're doing.
I think with these guys, especially Couch Potato, with every video that I do, there's like a fresh concept, and the
Yeah.
concepts excite them. And so, and also me as a person, because I think I'm bossy because
But
I know.
rightfully so. Why should we be apologetic about it?
Thank you. Um, I I demand that I'm like, we have to do this and we have to do it like this only. And if I get anything less, I'll be very angry. And I go after people. I'm
Same
like,
here.
no,
Same here.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
See, that's all you have to do. Just
Yeah, I mean, just chasing like every little edit, or very every little small little mistake also that we point out, like we feel the need that yes, no, listen, I am not accepting anything lesser. I'm definitely not accepting anything mediocre. It has
yeah,
to. Yeah, I feel the need that listen, if I need that kind of attention, if I need that kind of respect, then I have to put out the kind of work that is worth gauging that respect and that attention.
correct,
Otherwise it's a waste of time on my part,
correct.
as well as it's
Yeah,
like I'm kind of cheating the other person also.
exactly. What's the point of putting anything out if it's not going to be awesome? And yeah, why work with somebody if it's anyway not going to make any sense? So these guys know that about me. So they're like, listen, Pranati demands a certain work ethic,
Yeah.
and they know they're used to that by now. And so what I do is I make a mood board, I write the entire concept note, I do the storyboard, everything is ready. All they have to do is come and shoot it. So that goes to them way before in time. They take a look at it, they feel excited about it. They're like, okay, here's a new, fun, creative project. Because at the end of the day, commercially, me also, them also, we work on lots of boring things. Like
uh,
I'm in marketing, they are in photography, videography. We work on commercial projects that are like, why do I have to do this? So
yeah,
when we get to do like creative, fun, unique, artistic things, experimental things, we're
for
all jumping
ourselves.
at it. We're like, yeah, for ourselves. We're like, come, let's do this. Yeah.
PK, if I had to ask you, create your own playlist of artists from Hyderabad that the world must listen to. That PK's recommendation of artists from Hyderabad that you must check out and you must listen to. So who do you put on that list?
Of course, Siddharth Bendi, Priyanka Nath, she's absolutely wonderful. Nitish Kondaparti, especially his Telugu stuff, it's amazingly just very beautifully kind of written and composed. Um, Also, there's a lot of DJs and there's a lot of producers also here, but I'm going to stick to the independent like singer songwriter stuff. Arpit Chauri, Arpit Chauri
Arpita.
has put out some beautiful stuff. Yeah, he's lovely. Uh, I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but off the top of my head, definitely these guys. Like, oh, Saikat Basu. Um, he has this amazing band that we've done gigs with back in the day, and he just put out a single as well. You guys have to listen to this guy. The Songsmith. The
Songs.
Songsmith.
Okay.
Definitely listen to Songsmith. They're one of the OGs of Hyderabad.
Oh, I must check it out too. See, this is what happens, when there's not enough concentration on music from Hyderabad. It's like,
Mm,
I mean, it's so great I asked you this question now because even now I'm learning about artists that I can actually listen to. And although, of course,
yeah,
I know about Siddharth Bendi and Priyanka
yeah,
Ranaut, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, also what's heartening, no, PK, is that very recently I have seen a lot of young mainstream artists also take to releasing music independently. Like I was just listening to a song in Telugu, Neede Akasham by Yamini
okay.
Ghantasala, and
Mm,
it's such a beautiful song. And
huh.
for those who don't know, Yamini is the grandchild of Ghantasala Garu, who was such an esteemed producer back in the day, and she's also
Oh,
a music director, S.S. Taman's sister.
crazy.
Yes. It's kind of really beautiful to see that there are actually young artists who want to break out of that whole
Yeah.
commercial mainstream cloud, and they want to uh, you know speak in their own voice. They want to let their own voices and their own identities do the talking. So I guess it's a matter of time, PK. But like you rightly said, the more artists in Hyderabad, young artists in Hyderabad, are encouraged to really put themselves out there, the more they're able to break the confines of these towering mainstream commercial prospects. I think that's when we will see the scene flourish and get better for the city. And hopefully, there will be a day where we will put Hyderabad in the same bracket as the other cities that we spoke about. Um,
Yeah.
as a firm believer of community feeling, PK, it becomes imperative for me to ask this question in every interview of mine as to who are some of your favorite Indian independent music artists today. Who do you love listening to, and who are the artists that you look up to?
I have always looked up first and foremost to Mali Malika Manoj from Chennai, and now she's in Bombay. But I think just everything about her is very inspiring. Her songwriting, her structure, her vocal structure, her compositions, and even she's not fallen prey to this whole take off your clothes and get famous thing, which a lot of people seem to somehow fall prey to. You know, she's so classy, and I love that about her. Apart from her, I love Runge and Clifford. I look up to their songwriting so much. I think they're so cool. Sand Dunes, yeah, Sand Dunes, the set that she's been doing all around the country, like stellar stuff. Um, there's so many bands. I love Apes. I love what Hanuman Kind is doing. I think just the way and this time at NH7 I discovered Dapist. He's also from the Northeast.
Yep.
And he is incredible. Um, so yeah, there's so many people. Easy Wanderlings forever favorite. Love them. Pratika Gopinath, she's amazing. So yeah, there's a lot of artists that I look up to, but these are off the top of my head. These are some of them.
Before we conclude, Pranati, if I may ask, what are the big plans going forward? Of course, I know it's too far-fetched to talk about how we are looking at 2023. I'm sure the first thing you have in mind now is like, okay, I want to get done with the shows, with the commitments that I have for the month, and then take the time off and hang my stockings for the rest of the month and just relax and recoup. But if I may ask, what's next in the pipeline, or what are the big plans for yourself?
Apart from definitely taking a break, maybe going on vacation, for me, my next big plan is, and I promised my manager this, Dhruv. He said to me, 2023, if you don't release 6 songs, I will absolutely be mad at you. So I'm going to release 6 singles between January to August, and they're ready. Like the song, the music is there. I just have to put them out.
Yeah.
And I'm planning to do a music collaboration with some with a producer uh, and a couple of musicians from Delhi. So I'm
Yeah.
planning on putting together this new set, very chill jazz kind of hip hop vibe. And that's my experiment for this month. And if it does really well, then I'm planning on taking that around, like Sand Dunes did with
Yeah.
her set. I'm planning on doing that between Jan, Feb, hopefully. Play a few more festivals, hopefully, whatever, keep doing gigs. Just keep it going. I'm just gonna keep it going.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
But six releases for 2023. My God,
Yeah.
are you planning to be Akshay Kumar from Hyderabad right now?
Yeah.
Let me see. But onwards and upwards, PK, I think, like you rightly said,
Thank you.
the more artists put themselves out there, and I think maybe you are trying to take that into your stride. Okay, that you be the person who walks the talk. And I wish you all the very best in all your upcoming
Thank you, VJ.
enterprises. And it's high time. I think we should meet. Actually, I was like, damn it, I could have gotten the chance to meet you at in
We,
Pune, but
yeah,
hopefully,
yeah,
whenever that happens, whenever you're in town in Mumbai or whenever
yeah,
I happen to be in Hyderabad, I think it's
yeah.
high time we should meet.
We have to.